Hey everybody, my name is Jennifer. This is Metatron speaking. I'm going to be talking to you today about some messages that I've channeled from Inari Okami. I don't even have my phone open to my notes like I normally do, but I'll go ahead and I'll chat with you as I do this. So if you are new to this channel, I am a channeler. I am clairvoyant. I am a little bit clairaudient. Um, and I can feel the energy of my guides, and I have intuition. And so I use all of my gifts together in order to get kind of like cohesive messages from them. And I like to bring the messages forward to the public so that if you are having a similar experience, that you can have validation, or if you're curious about what it's like to interact with an archangel or an ascended master, you can get a feel for their personality through normally through what I'm um, through the messages that I'm channeling with them. By the way, um, for any of you who regularly follow me, or even if you're new to this channel, my business partner, Susan, um, we work together at Orange Light Energy. We do energy healing. We do everything with energy, not just healing. Check it out anytime you like. But Susan has started a YouTube channel. So if you would like to connect with Susan's energy more regularly, if you've never seen Susan, never had a session with her before, and you want to see what her energy is like, this is a great opportunity. She's doing lots of different things on her channel. One of the main things she's doing is short videos that contain energy healing. So this is a really awesome way for you to go over to her channel, check out the different options she has. She has little short videos for different things. So depending on what might benefit you on any given day, you can choose that video. You don't have to have 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever to watch the video. She's doing them in short chunks so that you can get the energy, even if you don't have a lot of time to commit to the process. And of course, you can go back to these as often as you like to get the benefits from them. So I will include the link to her YouTube channel somewhere in the description below so all of you have it. Let me see if I can actually. I guess Metatron wants me to talk to you guys because my phone just froze up. That's hilarious. I'm just trying to get to my notes for Inari Okami. I actually have um, a lot of different messages that I haven't had a chance to record for all of you just because I don't know, stuff that's going on in my 3D world. One of my kids got sick again recently, that kind of thing, and just trying to balance everything. I'm kind of just I'm learning how to try to balance it all out, and so I would love to be doing more videos for you, and I'm gonna find a way to do more videos for you. I might need to just start like doing this late at night, or I don't know what. I'm gonna figure something out because I want to be able to regularly connect with all of you because that's kind of what the point is, right? Okay. Let's see if I scroll down really far if I can find this message. Ooh, that's her. I just have to find the beginning. This message I already put on Medium. So if you connect with me through Medium, which is like a writing platform, I put these messages up in two different segments because I try to keep it shorter on Medium. So it's up there already. So if you connect with me there, you might have already seen this information. But for all of you who aren't on Medium, YouTube is free. So how this started off is I kept seeing, so Inari Okami, and I didn't write it down here, but Inari Okami is a Japanese goddess. She's associated with foxes, or specifically nine-tailed foxes, um, which is in like Japanese folklore, but it shouldn't just be in Japanese folklore because this is actually a energetic creature, and the energy of the nine-tailed fox is present in all foxes, just like the energy of like unicorn is present in all horses. So even if you don't see the nine tails, even if you don't see the unicorn, it's still energetically there. Um, so Inari Okami, I could tell she was trying to reach out to me because I kept coming across foxes over and over and over again, like everywhere. Not necessarily real life foxes, although I saw one of those too. But just with my oracle cards, I had something happen recently. So if you ever feel like you've tapped out, you've maxed out on your gifts, and your gifts are never going to get any better, no, this is a lie. Your gifts are always improving, and you never know when you're going to notice it. So for me, I noticed my clairvoyance improved, which was like super exciting because that's the main psychic gift that I have and I love it. And it actually got better recently, where normally I have to want to see something and then I look over at a certain location in space. Always look over to like the upper right, and it's like a fake TV screen there, energetic TV screen, and I look over to see if I can see a picture. So that's normally how I get information when I'm awake. Recently, I can just close my eyes and I don't have to be meditating. I don't have to be relaxed. I can just close my eyes for a couple seconds and like pictures are popping in. So that's new. And I've been seeing rainbows recently. So I was like, all right, rainbows, foxes, I got it. She wants to talk to me. Um, yeah, let's see. So I'm gonna give this to you exactly as it came to me, even if I don't know. Sometimes I feel like when I channel these guides, it's a struggle and I'm not getting like the super crisp, clear messages that I like. And so this is one of those examples. And so just kind of follow along with me. Let's take a journey together. Let's learn who Inari Okami is. I do have another video because I've channeled her before. So this is not the first time. Um, so I was asking her about her energies. I was like, hey, why are you reaching out to me? Like, who are you? And so she starts showing me her energy and she's showing me, hey, like, we know each other. You love me because she contains all of these energies that I love. So the way I kind of understand God or goddess energy is that they are composed of many different um I, I say archangel energy because I kind of relate everything back to archangel energy. If you see a different channel and you talk to a different person, they may relate everything back in a different way. I'm very archangel based, and so for me, it's like, oh, you are an incarnation of Archangel Michael, or you were Archangel this, Archangel that, whatever. So gods and goddesses, they can contain multiple archangel energy, which is like kind of mind bending for the 3D mind. But she's showing me, hey, I'm Archangel Michael, I'm Archangel Raphael, and I don't know if how does it work? I'm a- I'm asking him. I'm like, is it all of Michael's energy? Is it all of Raphael's energy? And he's like, no, it's like they spliced it. It's like they took part of it, which again is messing with my mind. So part of Michael, part of Raphael, um, part of Archangel Jeremiel. Archangel Jeremiel is the one that does clairvoyance. This is the angel of visions and dreams. It typically people associate Jeremiel with a male energy, I believe, but he presents as a female to me. So she hangs out behind me usually. So this is what Inari Okami told me. See through illusion. Expand your horizons. Your essence is love. And so I was trying to understand her. And I said, "Are you telling me this because I'm having a hard time with the fact that she's presenting as a female energy to me? Inari Okami is I believe in the Japanese mythology or whatever you want to call it, they refer to Inari Okami as just like a deity, and where they're not really specifically naming, hey, you're male or female. Um, she always has presented to me as female. But she's also telling me that she's embodying a lot of these what I see as traditionally masculine energies, even though they're not. Archangels are male and female. I know this. I just perceive them one way or another because that's what my 3D brain feels comfortable with, but it's not the truth. So I was asking Inari Okami, like, are you telling me to see through illusion because I'm like having such a hard time with you doing all this gender bending in my brain? And she spoke in a male voice to me and she said, I am everything. I was like, oh my gosh. It was very intimidating to have that happen. Um, and so there's kind of this theme that's been going on where the gods and the goddesses have been, they're tough. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you are starting out on your spiritual journey and you're starting out with channeling and you're starting out with getting guidance from your guides, do not choose a god or a goddess to work with. Like, this is my recommendation. Do not start off with that because gods and goddesses have both light and dark energy. So, I mean, you might be a person that works really well with that, but I'm not. Like, I like working with archangels. They're all love, they're all gentle, they tell me lovely things. If you work with a god or a goddess, they're going to be like, what's your problem? You're doing it wrong. Get your life in order. Like, they do tough love. They have a different vibe about them. So if that's a little too much for you, which it is for me, don't start off with a god or goddess. I'm trying to learn more about them now to expand my brain, but I always prefer working with ascended masters and archangels because there's so much love energy from them. It's something to aspire to, whereas a god or a goddess is more like a mystery to try to unravel. A mystery to try to unravel. That's how I would describe them. Um, yeah, so Inari Okami is trying to expand my mind into greater truths. So males and females as being like a separate energy, that's a human or like a 3D construct. It's not real. That's not the truth. This is a division that's been created to create contrast, but realistically, we all contain both male and female energies. Hopefully, it's divine feminine and divine masculine traits. There are many planets that have all androgynous beings. Um, just trying to think of all the examples. Our souls have incarnated as both males and females. It's not like, oh, I'm a female soul, I only incarnate as female. You might have a female soul. I have a female soul, but I incarnate just as much male as female. We all do. We all incarnate many, many times as both genders because we need to understand what it feels like to have that division and be treated in a certain way because of that division. Yeah. And so I told Inari Okami, I was like, hey, you didn't track me down. You didn't show me all these foxes and show me all these rainbows because you wanted to talk about gender. Like, what do you really want to talk about? I sense there is something bigger brewing. She has female energy right now. I feel a sadness, perhaps a longing from her. It is situated in my chest, and I begin to recognize it not as her feelings, but as my feelings. So when you're channeling guides, it is almost impossible to tell the difference between what you feel and what they feel. If they feel, because they're so close to your energy that you're overlapping, if they feel something, you feel it like it's yours. And so it takes a second to figure it out. Um, and so what I recognized is that these were my feelings and that it was trauma from her. And so this is past lifetime trauma with her. It is massive and heavy as she lifts it to the surface of me. I feel the energy catch on the bones in my right shoulder uncomfortably. It was crazy. This is the only time a guide has removed trauma. And this is like an energetic, and it's like an energetic rock, energetic ball. It's condensed energy or dense energy. As it was being removed, I could feel it physically catching on my bones, which was it was gross. I didn't like it. And if you ever have an archangel remove energy from you, they are gentle. That will not happen. Again, this is because it's a god or a goddess. They just do things differently. The energy pushes uncomfortably against my clavicle bones. So, like these bones right here. A memory of earlier that day returns to me now. So there was one point earlier that day where I closed my eyes and I saw teal, that color in between blue and green. I saw like aqua or teal in my vision. And again, I just barely closed my eyes and it showed up. And so it was impressive because I've never seen that color. So this is also how I knew my clairvoyance has been improving. Never seen that color, to the best of my knowledge, when closing my eyes. So here's another thing that I have to explain. If you are clairvoyant, there are different kinds of clairvoyance. So what, man, how do I explain this? Okay, I can think of 3 different kinds of clairvoyance just to put it out there in the world. So I use probably a very rare way to use clairvoyance, which is I look outside of myself, outside of my physical self, and I look for the answer out there. There's another way to get clairvoyance where you see the picture inside your head, and so your eyes could be open, your eyes could be closed. And there's this third way, when you go to meditate, when you go to close your eyes, it's almost as if the blackness of having your eyes closed is now its own TV screen. And if you get into rhythmic breathing, usually, you can eventually start seeing pictures. Although, yeah, what you see when you close your eyes and get images in, that looks different. To me, it looks much more vibrant, um, much more colorful, much more. Yeah, it's hard to explain. The pictures look different when you close your eyes and you get them on that screen versus when you look outside of yourself or when you see them inside your head. If that helps anybody out there. Anyways, I saw teal and I was like, "Hey, Inari Okami, were you that aqua colored light that I saw when I meditated? Were you like loosening up this trauma?" And she said, "Yes." And I asked her why it's so uncomfortable, and she said that the trauma was created in a different dimension. And so the trauma was holding a vibration that was very different from my current vibration. And whenever you have a difference in vibrations, it's uncomfortable. So whether you like, sometimes we interact with a person and we're like, ooh, that's uncomfortable. And it's because they have a vibration that's much lower than ours. And so it feels uncomfortable. And in the same way, your guides can give you this really high vibrational download and they can shove it into your crown chakra. And that also can feel uncomfortable, even though it's higher vibration. And it's just because there's a difference in the vibration. So I was like, yeah, so she's explaining the trauma. It is typical for my first interaction with a guide. So if this is and by first interaction, I just mean if I don't really know this guide super well, and I first call out to them and I'm like, hey, let's channel. Almost always they ignore me and they just start healing my body and removing trauma. And then I have to wait until they've removed whatever it is they want to remove. And then finally they'll let me channel them. So I was just saying to her, hey, just tell me why you wanted my attention. She plays a verse of a song where a female sings, I am yours and you are mine. So to give you context, there is this innate longing and this innate magnetic pull between people and gods and goddesses. And the reason is because the gods and the goddesses represent the whole. Even if they don't have all energies in them, they have a whole bunch of different energies within that expression, right? Because each god or goddess is an expression of the one energy, of the, whatever you want to call that, source, creator, whatever name you want to give it. And so we are separated, in the grand scheme of things, we are separated from the whole in order to experience incarnation, in order to learn things. And so there's always this innate soul longing to reconnect, to return to the whole, the one, the source, the gods or the goddesses. And so when she says, I am yours and you are mine, I don't know that there are very few gods or goddesses that didn't give me like almost like romantic vibes, right? Because we have connections with all these different energies, and a lot of them are romantic. And so if you take any god or goddess, there's a good chance they have a little bit of so and so's energy in there. Um, but yeah, but sometimes if you interact with the god or goddess, it comes off like romantic energy. And it's about reuniting with that whole. Let's see. They represent home. Yeah. Perceived separation is about learning, but godhood is our natural state. She sits in front of me, and her robes float and flare out around her in slow motion. And so, whenever I see something in slow motion in my clairvoyance, that's a symbol for me that I am in the realm of the gods, because for some reason everything moves in slow motion there. At least that's how I see it. I don't know if that's really how it is or not. And so I'm like, oh, I know where we are. We're in the realm of the gods. Inari Okami is larger than life now. It's almost like she expands out, she gets big, and she starts looking like this like real life moving statue. She radiates light that feels like the color gold. And so I asked her again. So, because here's the thing, she's like, I am yours and you are mine. I'm like, yeah, but that's how it is with all the gods and goddesses. Why did you reach out to me? Why not Ra? Why didn't Ra reach out to me? Why wasn't it Odin? Like, I work with these guys every day. Why you? I'm like, I know this is not random. I just want to understand. She does not say a word, but she changes her energy to like motherly energy. And I'm like, okay, are you trying to show me that you're connected like with Mother Mary's energy, that she's part of your energy? And she says yes. I'm like, okay. And I was getting like frustrated. I was like, you are being so coy. I'm like, just tell me. Um, the gods and goddesses love to do this to me. They watch me slowly put pieces together. Perseverance and patience are the only things that will get me to the answers I want. So I channel this. I'm like, perseverance and patience are the only way to get to the answers I want. And then I go, oh my gosh. Because very recently, I had an interaction with Amun Ra, Egyptian god Amun Ra, that is it's recorded somewhere on the internet, it's on YouTube, where during this conversation with Amun Ra, it was also very difficult. I was trying to channel him and he kept making me work super hard and I was getting barely any information. And at the very end, I realized, like, he shows me this vision of me, my soul, in between lifetimes. Before, I think it was, when I talk about it, I always talk about it like it was right before this lifetime, but I actually think it was further back than that. But let's say it was right before this lifetime. In between lifetimes, I make this comment, I make this statement, and I'm like, Yeshua, Jesus. I want to be more like him. This is who I want to be more like. And Amun Ra is like, okay, you need more patience, you need more perseverance, you need more leadership. We need to work on these skills for you. This is how you will become more like Yeshua. And there was probably a much larger list than that, but that's what he's sharing with me. And so I'm kind of laughing because Inari Okami is doing the same thing to me as Amun Ra did. Amun Ra was giving me a hard time with channeling to teach me patience, to force me to persevere. And so he did it out of love to give me opportunities to learn the things I'm trying to learn. And so she does the same thing. And so when she does it, I'm like, oh my gosh, you're mimicking Amun Ra. I must love you the way I love him. Like we must be connected. And so I kind of softened to her because I recognize she must be someone of importance to me. And then I start thinking about things and I realize I'm kind of obsessed with foxes. I mean, like not officially, like I don't have a disorder or anything, but um when my firstborn when I was pregnant with my firstborn, I did everything with foxes. The nursery was decorated with foxes. I had a fox diaper bag. I had fox stuffed animals. I had clothing with little foxes on it. Um, Even now, like I give them stuff with foxes all the time. Um, and so I'm like thinking back on my life and I'm realizing all these ways that I've kind of been like really drawn to foxes and really drawn to rainbows in the past. And then I start to wonder, oh my God, because when we come here, think of it this way. When we come here, our memories are wiped clean. Wiped clean. We have no idea who we've been before. We have no idea what we've done, who we love, nothing. The only thing we can go off of is what our soul pulls us to. So when we have a deep connection, whether this is to a guide, whether this is to like a certain galactic race, so people who feel, oh my God, I'm so drawn to the Arcturians, or I'm so drawn to the Pleiadians, or I'm so interested in Japanese culture, or I love Mediterranean food, or I love the ocean. Any of the, I'm so drawn to Jesus. Like whatever it is that you feel so drawn to, nothing is accidental. This is your soul recognizing we love this because we have experienced much of this. We love this because we have a relationship with this. And so me realizing, oh my God, I don't know her, but what she comes in representing with the foxes and the rainbows, I've been surrounded by that my whole life and it makes me happy. And so I let me see. Now I wonder if my obsession with foxes was the only imprint of her left on my soul, something so strong that not even an erased memory could keep it from me. Was it the only clue trying to lead me back to her? I think of my longing for the stars. I'm one of those people that goes outside and I like look up and it doesn't matter what stars I'm looking at. I'm just like, this feels like home. I'm happy. And that was my subtle clue of my connection with Amun Ra. And so I'm wondering, okay, I bet you the foxes and the rainbows are my connection to this other goddess. I feel her love energy. She only shows a little so as not to overwhelm me. Exposure to the love of the guides you are closest to can literally bring you to your knees. She chooses to only expose me to a small amount of her energy. And so I asked her, I was like, my mind was being blown. I was like, so my whole life, every fox, that was about you. And she says, yes. And she touches my heart chakra when she says this to like emphasize her point. And so there's like this wave of like love and like endorphins. Oops, sorry, I'm like touching my mic. There's like this wave of love and endorphins that like goes through my heart chakra when she's doing this. And it's like she's just verifying. She's like, "Do you feel this connection?" Like yes, we are connected. So here's a channel message I want to give you from her. A pebble dropped into a pond ripples out. Its impact is much greater than the work it set out to do. Do not assess your work. You have no clarity for the true impact. Keep throwing pebbles. Keep disrupting the reflection of the water. For how can you observe the depths underneath the surface if you are busy looking at your own reflection? Do not worry about what your reflection looks like. Dig deeper. Do not be distracted by what the world sees. Focus on your task, not on the observers who stand off to the side. Slowing down to check your progress is a waste of your resources. Refocus yourself and begin again. Connect to your heart again. That is what guides you to the joyful path. Stop bringing your mind into your journey. It is slowing you down. You cannot understand most things, but you did not come to Earth for understanding of the spiritual world. You came to feel and to be surprised and learn the lessons that you have been too rigid to learn in lives past. Focus on how you feel, not on what you think. You have to feel your way through if you truly want answers. The truth is not in words. It is in experiences. You cannot channel the truth from us. You must immerse yourself in us to feel the truth. You will learn more quickly if you are using the correct tools. Stop trying to understand. The answers you want are not contained in the mind. The soul already knows the answers. You are part of us. Our thoughts are your thoughts. So how do you get to the information you want? And she says this to me. She's like, "You're using the wrong tools. You're thinking too much. Um, your soul already knows the answers. So how do you get to the information you want?" And immediately, they had plugged in information into my head because I said, "I need to change floors," which doesn't sound like it makes any sense. I need to change floors. And so I recognized that if my perspective was an elevator, I was too low. My perspective was too low, so I wasn't seeing clearly. And so I was like, oh, I need to raise my consciousness. I need to raise my perspective. And in the universal chakra, so this is your crown chakra. Up here somewhere is your soul star, your stellar gateway, and then above that is your universal chakra. And this is the chakra that connects you to your godhood. This is the chakra that connects you to the one collective energy, and it's kind of trippy. I have a video on it if you ever want to watch it. It's a trip because when they connect me to it, I start saying all this philosophical stuff. It's kind of entertaining. But I thought about this and I was like, I'm asking Inari Okami for the answers, right? But if I want the answers, I can just get the answers myself because I can connect to the collective consciousness, right? I can connect to the same answer she has. And so I'm thinking about doing that. And then Metatron tells me, no, don't go up to the universal chakra. That's too much. Go down one lower than that. Stay in the stellar gateway. I move my consciousness there, and it feels highly uncomfortable as a download is received. The high frequency of the information doesn't match my frequency. I talked about that in this video. And so it causes discomfort. I try to tune into what I have been given. It appears as a book thick and large with a hard brown leather cover. I hear someone jokingly say, "It's a recipe book." Magical recipes, perhaps. I tune in again to the book. It's my Akashic Records book. The book that contains everything I've ever said or done while incarnated or in between lives. And so my first reaction to this is actually a negative reaction because I'm like, you have to realize. So I've been working with Metatron for a while, and before, many months before we set up a business, and many months before I was doing YouTube videos, I was just sitting around and channeling Metatron on my own. And one of his favorite pastime hobbies with me was, hey, let me show you this past lifetime. Because he gave me access to the Akashic records pretty quickly, pretty early on. And he used to show me past lifetimes all the time, like sometimes 10 a day, 15 a day, sometimes. Sometimes it was crazy. And none of them were fun. None of them were like, oh, wow, look at me. I was, I did a good job. He's never showing you the lifetimes where you do the good job. He's showing you the lifetimes where you made choices you wish you hadn't made that created trauma, where the trauma needs to be released because it's holding you back. And so I've seen a lot of those lifetimes. So when they show me my Akashic Records book, I'm just like, think of how many lifetimes are in there that I really don't want to know about. Because I messed up. I hurt somebody that I loved. It's going to hurt me to remember or to be told that I've done this. And so when he first shows me this, I'm like, I don't really want this. The truth is, I do not want to hurt. This is Metatron's book of my soul. And so I turn to him for answers on how to proceed. So I'm like, hey, Metatron, do you want to show me like specific lifetimes? And he's like, nope. And I was like, cool. Do you want me to just like look through this book, like however I want? And he's like, no. And then I'm like, okay, what then? And he says, certain things you cannot see, especially times outside of incarnation. I cannot give you access to all while you are in a body. Makes sense. But I can increase your access beyond what you have experienced before with me. Metatron has always chosen lifetimes for me, with my best interests in mind. Even if I do not like it, it's nice having him. So, because if you think about it this way, some people go into the Akashic records and they're like, they see books and they pull out one and they're like turning certain pages. I don't do any of that for my Akashic records. Metatron just starts showing me a lifetime. So he's the one who picks it. He knows what's in that person's best interest or in my best interest, if it's my past lifetime. And it's good for him to do that because he knows everything. And then, okay, so then I ask him, does this have something to do with Inari Okami? And he says, yes. There are certain, and I ask him, are there certain lifetimes that she's trying to show me? And he says, yes. And then I'm like double checking because I'm being like super paranoid. And I'm like, okay, Metatron, because I have trust issues with gods and goddesses because I don't know how much I can trust them, especially when they're brand new. So I asked him, like, hey, Metatron, is this a lifetime you want to show me? And he's like, yeah. So I was like, okay. So this is what it says. They tell me that this is the Andromedan galaxy, planet Anon, 400 years in the future. So all of that is like bizarre because that's not normally how they give me Akashic records. They don't normally give me dates. They don't normally give me that level of detail. Inari Okami says, what appears to be the future to Earth is the past to us. Your perception of past and future depends on where you stand on the timeline, the point from which you perceive. To see the truth, you must rise above the timeline and out of the perspectives you currently hold. The truth is not an arrival point. It is a web woven into everything, and yet concealed up close. The paradox is that the farther you remove yourself from your knowledge and experiences, the more clearly you will see them. You can hold the answer in your hand and be blind to it, but travel away from it and look back, and perhaps in the right lighting, you will see things you never saw before. And so she's like confusing me because she's pretty philosophical with what she's telling me. Probably speaking in analogies too, right? Um, and so I asked her, will we view this lifetime from the perspective I had when I lived that lifetime? And she said, no. And so, and I'm just telling you what I saw because it was strange. I saw like a board game. And so it's like me and Inari Okami. And it's like we're looking down on this board game. And the board game represents the lifetime. And so Inari Okami is like, representative of God or the goddess. And she's above it all, able to see it all, know it all. She is trying to show me what happens, behind the curtain. Behind the curtain. Oh, with analogies. Yeah, with analogies. So she's trying to show me what it looks like to be a god or a goddess observing someone's lifetime, but they're using the analogy of the board game because that's like the easiest way for our brains to understand it. It's not necessarily accurate in any way. I join her, standing next to this board game and peering down below. There is a man with dark blonde hair on a brown horse. His clothing is simple and casual. I ask him, is that me? And she says, no, this is your son. I see a woman with long white hair hug the man when he dismounts his horse. So my son, I can tell, he cannot join me. He has only come to tell me that he will no longer be visiting me. We have opposing belief systems, and though I do not try to indoctrinate him with my beliefs, he is uncomfortable to be associated with me. It hurts, but I know I cannot talk him out of it. He will accept no parting gift from me. He believes that everything from me is tainted. When my daughter hears what her brother has done, she follows along his path and severs communication with me as well. This creates a deep ache to be rejected by the children I love. I continue with my lifestyle, and I love them from afar, wishing good things for them, but not attempting to make contact. I do not feel sorry for myself. I miss them, but I do not feel like a victim. I understand that what they choose for their life is just as correct as what I choose for mine. No one is wrong. There is no need to have all people hold the same viewpoint. I am happy that they are living their life in the way that feels right to them, because I love them. Their happiness makes me happy, even if it does not include me. This is what real love is about. There is no desire to control, no desire to own another person, no claim on another person's time or body. Love is a freedom. It is a pleasure to be had despite circumstances. Love is about the joy of loving. I see myself working with small plants, loving them, caring for them, helping them to grow. This brings me great joy, even if it is never reciprocated or acknowledged by the plants. So I see this lifetime and I'm asking Inari Okami, I'm like, what's the point in showing me this? Like, are you trying to show me like I used to be wise? Like I used to have this all together and now I don't? And so I hear Inari Okami's voice echo like a memory, replaying something she said earlier. What appears to be the future to Earth is the past to us. And so I'm like, but how does this help me now? If I'm not, because normally they show me lifetimes of trauma and it makes sense. Okay, you're showing this to me so I can release the trauma. This wasn't about trauma. So I'm like, what's the point of telling me this? And she said, the more you react from a higher perspective, the less you will suffer. Your perspective does not change what other people choose to do, but it changes how you feel about your life. You can choose to see yourself as whole and empowered, or you can choose to see yourself as lacking and wronged. Both perspectives will feel like the truth, but one causes much struggle, while the other shows a way to peace and fulfillment. So this is the end of her message. I don't feel like it's funny, I don't feel like I got to know her anymore. Even though she was hanging out with me and, giving me these messages, but it's probably some kind of trauma in my heart that still needs to be resolved towards her, to be honest. Um, if you are interested in having your Akashic records read by me, we have a session called a Storyteller Akashic Records reading, where I will pull up 4 past lifetimes that are given to me by Metatron that are designed to remove whatever trauma is holding you back from the next step on your journey. So if that is a session that you are interested in, we have that available. Let me see what else. Oh, our Patreon group. So many of you who watch are part of the Patreon group, but many of you who watch this channel are not part of the Patreon group. So I wanted to give you really brief information on this group in case this is something you would be interested in. Because when we first started the group, we didn't really understand what direction it was going to go into. And now that we've had it for, we've had it for like almost exactly a year. I don't know what day we started, but it might be we just passed our 1-year anniversary, basically. So let me explain what the group is. We meet twice a month on a 1-hour Zoom call to discuss different channeled messages that have come through for the group. So these are exclusive messages. These are not messages that would be on YouTube or Medium. These would only be for the Patreon group. And we do a lot of work with the planet. So if you are someone who feels drawn to supporting the planet, you feel drawn to making the world a better place, but you don't really know how, we use lots of different methods in this group. So we kind of introduce the group to magical concepts, working with magical symbols, working with, at times it'll be, working with crystals, working with herbs, um, working with light language. And so we use a little bit of everything because all of us in the group are probably drawn a little bit to one thing or another, but we probably actually all have experience in all of these areas. So you don't need to be clairvoyant to be in the group. You don't need to know who your guides are or have a lot of experience with anything at all, because everything that we do, we set it up in a way that whoever you are, wherever you are in your journey, you're able to just kind of pick up right then and start joining in with us if you would like to. The things that we present to do as um, work for the earth is optional. So it's only if that's something that you feel drawn to do. What else? What else? What else? Um, yeah, I think that's probably the best way I could describe it. If it's something you think you're interested in, come check it out. There isn't a free option. So if you do like the free membership, it won't give you access to anything, but come check it out for a month. Come see if this is something that's right for you, because Metatron is making me feel like there's a group of you out there that this is your home base. This is your group of people and you're missing, and it's like, come join, come join, come join us. Um this is a really diverse group of people that we have. This is people from many different countries, many different age groups, many different employment backgrounds, experience backgrounds, everything you could imagine. But the people in this group are loving, supportive, um, they are silly and curious, and we have some people who love to participate, and they'll leave comments and they'll talk in the chat groups. And so if you're looking to connect more closely with people, there are certain people that absolutely love to communicate in those areas. We have other people who are equally amazing human beings, and they they stand back a little bit more and we don't hear from them as often, but they're just as magnificent of souls, and we love having all of them there. And we would love having you there, whether you are someone who wants to kind of like get involved in all of it, or if you just kind of want to stand back and just look at it and see if it's something that fits for you. Either way works for us. Okay, this is all that I have for you guys. I hope you have an amazing day, afternoon, or night, depending on where you are. And I will see you next time. Bye bye.